of FairTV. Okay, so this commences the June 23rd special meeting of FairTV, Monday, June 23rd, 8:30, with all commissioners present of FairTV. So it's been obviously a little while as everything continues to run very smoothly, but with the fiscal year coming up and a couple of matters certainly to discuss, obviously important to get back to meeting regularly as needed. So I don't have any remarks aside from, that I hear nothing, literally, Luke, that's directed toward me. And if there are emails still going to FairTV, that old alias, then, they must not be circling their way through, because I thought we did away with that, but I hear literally nothing, crickets. So hats off to you and the team.
Thanks.
Those are my opening remarks. Paula?
Yeah, I have nothing.
Okay. So I think first I'm just pulling up the agenda here. Lee, do we want to ratify the last minutes?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting dated February 11th, 2025.
February
11th,
Right.
2025. Right. Somebody want to second it?
I second the motion. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, those meeting minutes are approved. And at this point, Luke, we'll throw it over to you for your report. Why don't you take us through anything and everything, but certainly want to talk about, the little my little awareness to, some budget allocations, et cetera.
Yeah. Yeah. So, one note is that I did hire I guess I brought on a backup producer, just because sometimes we have a bunch of meetings that are added last minute, or like, if, especially because a lot of the freelancers work other jobs. So there's times where we might need someone to step in, and our main producer, Jeff, he had a friend who he recommended. I had a phone call with him, and he's had 10 years of broadcast work and stuff. Very definitely good fit for us. I had him work a meeting I think 2 weeks back now. He did good. Jeff was kind of sitting there with him, but he honestly said that he didn't even have to do anything. He just kind of took over on his own. So he's a good person to have just as a backup in case we're short, got people, or again, like sometimes they add meetings on top of meetings, and then we need the additional coverage. So that's kind of like a good backup plan hire, kind of. As far as the budget goes, I think, you mean the budget for this year or like the current year or next year's budget?
Well, I think the goal was, you tell us, but you would start them at 25 an hour, which is what they were getting the last 2 years, the rest of them, or?
Yeah. So the new guy, I started at 25 because that's where they were at. And then per the email that I think actually last meeting we discussed the different pay rates based on their hours worked and their actual roles. So that would go into effect July 1st. So their next invoice that they submit will have the pay rate increase that we approved last meeting.
Right, for the rest of them, but would that include Jeff?
What was that?
Sorry, I just so I'm clear. Would that include John?
Yeah, John is gonna, because he just started, he'll stay with the rate that was $25 an hour. So
Okay, okay,
that's what it was, and everyone else got the pay increase that was approved.
right. And that was
in the past.
27?
Yeah, so 27 for two of the staffers, and then 28 and 30 for Jeff and Paxton, who have take on additional tasks or work more hours or do more around their broadcasts and whatnot. So
Yeah, I mean, that was all approved. Does anybody have any questions about this? It's just been a while. I think that's why we're just sort of
yeah, that's
restating.
fine.
But the 25, I mean, obviously, yes, he just started, so
Yeah.
we'll keep him at that for now, but everyone else is between 27 and 30. Which
Yeah.
for what they're doing and in today's world is,
Pennies.
yeah, it is. I mean, they've all been with us for a while, I think, aside from John,
Yeah,
right?
I think Paxton I think has been here the longest.
Yeah.
So I don't, he was here, him and Jeff were here when I started, but I think he worked a year before Jeff started. So it was him, Jeff, and Ryan, who he said he worked for Jerry in the past, and then he came back after I took over. I get because he's friends with Jeff, and then Jeff, I guess maybe he told him that I started working, and he came back. And then Chelsea, she started, I think, last year around April or so,
There you go.
right on budget season, I remember. So at least a year for everybody.
Yeah, as long as we're not, nobody has the expectation, I mean, that we, that there's a raise every year. I think this is fine.
No, I think exactly. And I think, I mean, it's for the most part, most of them, it's been 2 years or so.
Yeah.
Maybe, some 3. And I think the last raise was, I think, a year before I started. So like 3 years ago, or
Yeah,
4 years
I
ago,
remember.
whatever. So I think
No,
it was time. I think, like I said, it's one of those jobs where if the most important thing is reliability and having someone know the role and just be able to like be there every meeting, and the hours are odd, and we have a good team, so I think if again, if we could keep them around, that's awesome.
Yeah, no issues, Lee, Paula, Pete.
No,
Suzanne.
No issues.
Right. It's not even really a voting matter because this is just really having an extra body.
Yeah.
And as you said, it's not an easy fit. So good job with that.
Yeah. Then, like I said, Jeff knew him. Jeff, Jeff gave his, basically gave his word that he was a good guy, and I spoke with him on the phone, had a good conversation, and he ran, like I said, he ran one of the meetings 2 weeks ago, and everything went well. So I, followed up with him after the fact, and he said, no issues, and excited to keep going with us. So
Great. Anything else?
let me see. The only other thing I wanted to mention was, now that the year is closing out.
Yeah.
I think usually after the last I think what it was last year, I'm trying to remember back, was after the year closeouts at July 1st, basically close out. I think they have all the leftover funds. Anything that you basically haven't spent, or it was like, because what we do is we have the purchase orders, like basically it's like a whole entire lot that we pay the vendors from. So if say the vendors didn't work as much as I thought, or one vendor didn't work as much as I thought, that at the end of the year, that all goes into that main general fund that we have. So I think I kind of did some math. I think we're over again this year. Last year they let us carry over money to use towards the TriCasters that we bought, I think. So this year I think we're about, if my math is correct, we're probably like 14,000 over. I don't know if that's part of the I don't know if that's part of the extra invoices and then on top of the CAC money. So it's kind of like everything all together at the end of the year. I think it was going to be like 14 over budget.
Over?
Over, yeah.
14,000
Like
over.
Do they
excess.
do they not include the CAC when they do the budget? Like, cause is it?
No, that's separate. Yeah. So that
Oh,
was, I think that was kind of part of the other reason is it last year, the previous year, the CAC only gave us, I think it was like $8,000 or something. So this year we had some equipment that I kind of put in the budget, a little extra excess, like a little extra money in case we needed something, something failed last minute, just to have a little bit of cushion. And then when CAC gave us the 25,000, which is like, 3 times more than what we got in the past, we were able to use that money for some of the stuff that was, potentially I saw as a potential purchase for this year. So I think that's where the excess money comes from, or is coming from.
So they just haven't
Wait,
reconciled it, or what?
What's that?
Have they just not reconciled it to that budget, or like, why is it over? Because we're not over budget, so like, what?
Are we over budget or surplus money?
We have a surplus.
Surplus. That's what I meant. Like
Surplus. You
yeah.
said over
Like,
budget. Okay.
no, I meant like. Sorry, I phrased it wrong.
We're under budget.
So we have
Yeah.
under budget.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, is this an
Yeah.
accounting error? Because it seems strange. Okay, I get it now.
Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah, so we're 14 or so under budget. So we have 14 extra money to use after everything closes out. I have a few ideas of what we can do with it. There's a few cameras that we use for the remote shoots that are getting kind of older, and they've been here for at least 5 or 6 years. And I'm thinking, that could be a possible. And then the other thing was the TriCasters that we've got this year, they come with a control board. So it's basically like a giant keyboard, but it has all the buttons on the TriCaster there. So you don't have to like hit shortcut keys. So like now if you want to say you want to transition to the next window, you'd have to hit like Shift Control W or whatever it is to hit that key on the TriCaster. Whereas like the control board is basically what you're looking at on the TriCaster. So you just click on it, and it's a lot easier for the guys to work with. I know we had an old one at the office, but that kind of stopped working. They told me, I think that's like probably 10, 15 years old. So that would probably be another option to go with, maybe 2 of those to match the TriCasters that we bought.
Is there one of those items, Luke, either the cameras or the control board, that like you feel would be more of a priority?
I would probably say the cameras, just because, I mean, again, we have a camera and it's good, it's fine. I mean, it's not the best, but I mean that's the same thing with the keyboard. It's like it works, so it's more of like a need rather than a want, or want rather than a need. But I would say, I don't know. I mean, depending on the cost of things, we might be able to do both. I have to.
Okay.
I'm kind of digging deep. I'm trying to find the perfect equipment. Make this way I know it works, and we don't have to worry about not compatible or whatnot. I mean the control boards are pretty much standard. The camera, I'm just making sure that everything would work with our existing equipment. So I reached out to like the manufacturer just to ask a few extra questions. So I'm waiting to hear back from them. but if I mean, it'd be nice to do both of them, and then still have enough. I mean, let's see, because and then the other thing too. Let's see what I have. I made a little list. The other thing that would be potential is we have like laptops in the office that we do, like we take on remote shoots, and sometimes the guys do like work at home. They remote into the devices for the different meetings and whatnot. Those are about 5-6 years old. So that's kind of one of those things where it's kind of on the radar to get replaced in the next year or two, I would say.
I'm sorry, I would replace those now. I mean, 5 to 6 years for a Mac is a lot.
Yeah.
At work, we replace
So
them like every 3 years. They don't even update the right
Oh
software.
yeah,
3, it's
yeah,
like,
yeah. No, yeah. So that was probably one of the top ones on the
Yeah.
list. Again, I would have to go through Dave Kelly, because that's another thing is we can't just buy our own devices. Like it's a weird, even though they're Fair TVs, like he says because it's a laptop or desktop, it has to go through his approval because it's on their network and whatnot.
okay.
So I would have to go with him and see what he would allow. But I have a few options. I mean, I know they go with Lenovo, so I kind of did some research on Lenovo's to see what a good spec would be for the laptop, so I could reach out to him and get some to see what he would use or whatnot, or what he would allow. Yeah, because let's see, I think the newest one that we have is 2022, so that's already 3 years old.
Yeah.
And then the other one's 2020. So yeah, definitely I would say higher on their priority list. And I think I'd have to talk with I mean I don't know if Frank still works there. I haven't heard from him. But in the last year he let us carry over for the next physical year. I don't know if we could do that every year or how that works. Just like because if I don't know how fast we're able to get those, if we do get the laptops, how fast we're able to get those ordered and whatnot, through the POs and everything. So I don't know if that's something that we could carry over, and then like we did last year, carry over and then use it in the next year. This year there's no rush, and like if again something else comes up, we could kind of see if they would use it for that or whatever. We have to speak with finance, I guess.
Well, it seems like last year, Dave Kelly moved that money fairly quickly, as I recall.
Yeah, because I tried to look back at the emails. It looked like he told us about that. I think it was July, or August, because I have his email, and it looks like it says I think it was due in August, like August 9th or something was the meeting where they approved like the carryover money.
Oh,
But I mean, again, I could try to spend it now. I have to see now that we put the last invoices in. We have a better idea of how much we had left over. So then I could reach out. Maybe I'll reach out to Dave to get prices for the laptops, and then maybe the cameras, just to see if we could spend it before the year's over.
can I ask what became of the discussion of bonuses for the freelancers?
Yeah, I don't know. It was just something that because essentially the money was allotted for the freelance payment, like the POs, because that's
Right.
essentially allotted for the POs to pull from. So I don't know. I just thought maybe instead of using it 100% towards equipment, maybe giving a little bit back to them just to show a little appreciation. But I mean,
Well, do remember that the CAC voted last year, last fall, or at one of their meetings, that they voted in favor of allowing money to be used for salary for staff.
Okay.
And so that's a possibility where in other words, you could use some of the money from CAC if it's all fungible. Use some of the money from CAC if we decide to give them bonuses, and then you don't have to worry, I don't think, about. I think that's out. I would think that's outside of Dave Kelly's purview, unless I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's the one thing I thought of that, and I said it's probably one of those things where it's probably not, it's probably frowned upon because you're using it as not workable hours or something, you know.
Oh, you'd have to. I see. You'd almost have to give a retroactive pay raise to make that happen.
But
Maybe I'm confounding the problem.
I just don't know. Like I said, I just don't know. So I was just thinking something like modest, like, you know, a couple $100 or $500, whatever it is. I don't know how that would work, if that's even allowed, because it's the town budget, you know.
Yeah, mind you, I'm not trying to pull a fast one past Dave Kelly. I'm just that there is that option.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
I
And
think
then they would just get it.
I mean, it's like it's so little money, and it like makes them like, I don't know. I think it's a
What
good
was that?
idea.
Sorry.
They do.
What was it?
I think it's a good idea. Like, they do a lot of work. If we can do it, then I think we should try.
Yeah, that's why I say, like, I'd rather. I mean, not I'd rather, but I feel like they should get some of that money, because I mean, it essentially was allotted towards their invoices that they just didn't fully pay out, you know. So like, instead of just spending a bunch of money on equipment, then, and I thought maybe, you know, giving them some of it, it would be like, you know, end of the year or end of the fiscal year, like, here's a little extra, thanks for everything you do. I mean, because they basically, they're huge for us, you know. So I think a little
I agree.
extra would go a long way, you know. But again, I don't know the laws and the stipulations as far as, like, is that even allowed? Because I know for like, because I work for the Board of Ed too. I mean, like, the public school district, like, we don't get bonuses. I don't think that's even allowed. So I don't know if that is allowed on our end, or is that just something where, you know, if we want to give them extra hours for something, that might be the way to do it. I don't know how to.
How do you guys want to go about this?
I think it'd probably be better just to find out what's the proper way to give them as a bonus, as opposed to trying to just bill extra hours.
Yeah.
That to me seems like that would complicate things. If that were
And
into
maybe we can like set a precedent going forward. Like, maybe it's an annual thing where they get a bonus. You know what I mean? Like, we're always super under budget. If they work really hard, I think it's nice to have them look forward to something, especially in these times.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, like, again, like, we could do it. I was trying to figure out the best way to, like, percentage wise, maybe. I was thinking maybe we just do the percentage of how much they've worked. So if, you know, one person did 600 hours, then they got whatever percentage of that would be, say $600, just for argument's sake. Whereas the other person did 100 hours with us for that year, they got $100 bonus. So this way, it's not a blanket bonus across the board, you know, because if someone only does a couple hours and they get the same as someone who's here working, you know, 3 times a week, 4 times a week with us.
Yeah, that makes sense to do it.
Maybe
have a
we
formula.
draft some this. Yeah. Sorry.
But
Maybe we draft some sort of
Well, I think Pete's right. I think somebody, I'm thinking it might be you, David, has to find out who to speak to it in town government can say whether we can actually do this. Because it may be a moot question if we can't. We certainly don't want to be billing for hours not worked. That's
yeah.
fraud.
Yeah, I guess, the chief of staff might be a good. Oh, who's the person, Luke, that we've been in touch with? Is it James?
For the lawyer.
No. Although he could be, Phil, we could direct this to
You're
him
talking
as
about
well.
Jen Carpenter.
No, it was, he has a title like COO or something, or CFO.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's fine.
Are you thinking of David Becker?
Yes.
David Becker could probably answer the question.
Right. Okay. Does this all have to be done before the end of the month?
Well, so I mean, I guess that's the thing, right? Like, it would be nice to get everything off the books. So like end of the year, like we're kind of pretty much in break even, and then we don't have anything to carry over.
Right. Maybe honestly, Luke, the first actually the best way to do this is to engage Frank right out of the box.
Yeah.
Even if he doesn't know, because
He still works there, right?
I don't see why. Yeah, why?
I just haven't seen his name on like things lately. I mean,
Oh, really?
yeah, because he would normally reach out like
Oh,
at least
the
a couple
last note
times.
I have, the last note I have from him is from October.
Yeah.
Wow, time flies.
His LinkedIn says
Bridgeport.
Bridgeport, yeah.
There you
I
go.
have it right here.
I just found that too. Yeah.
Appointed new director appointment, Frank. Yeah.
Good for Frank.
So he doesn't.
He was very helpful to us.
Yeah, that makes sense. Right.
Yeah. Let me hang on one second. David Becker. It looks like on June 16th. What is Michelle's role again?
Michelle. What was
Cardenty?
Frank? Was he CFO?
Yeah.
So that's Tom
No, he wasn't
Harris
the
now.
I think we'll start with David Becker and Christine Brown. And really just the request is simply put, can we allocate? Luke, can you just write it up?
Yeah. Because that's, I mean, like I said, I don't mean to like stir feathers and all that. Like, I just figured.
No, I mean, if we can't do it, then we're not going to do it. It's not. Those things may be more complicated than you think, but I mean, I don't want to let that bureaucracy handcuff us. So let's try and get this, put this request in. It's and find out what's involved, and if I'm reluctant to vote on anything until we have a clarity as to how this can be done and if there's any issue. I mean, usually they're pretty flexible with holding allocations and everything, but given where we are, I would like to get the request to him this week.
Yeah, and I think I could email them tomorrow. That's no problem.
Who?
What was that?
Email who? David?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, just copy me.
David and Christine, right?
Yeah,
And you, obviously.
sure. I mean, you could copy of the whole committee. It's, I don't, I mean, I
Yeah.
think it really just keep it small for now because I'm just want to know what the process is and then we'll certainly let everybody here know. But just to figure out, you know, what sort of red tape is involved, if any, I think is a good idea. Okay.
Yeah, and like I said, I just think it would be nice, a little token of appreciation after everything that they've done, you know, so. And then if it is, if they do allow it or whatever, then maybe next meeting we could figure out like percentages or, you know, exactly how.
Yeah.
The only thing is, well, it sounds like last time it was August was when we needed the carryover money, so I guess that would be. I just don't want to miss the boat, and then we don't carry over the money properly, you know.
Right.
Okay. Let's move on. If everyone's, I'm just, so Lucas, does that wrap up your report?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So I'll reach out to Dave
David and Christine.
Christine. I'll CC you guys on it if you want it, and then
Sounds great.
and then we could go from there, and then we could figure out what to do if depending on if we're allowed to or if we're not allowed to. Then we could figure out what to do with the new laptops and the maybe we'll do the new laptops, and I mean I'll price everything out and get exact estimates so we know how much we could spend or how much, you know, we need to carry over if we do.
Okay. I don't believe there's, Luke, I don't want to rush you. Was there anything else?
No, I think that was it. Yeah, just
Okay.
those few.
So Wednesday I'll be down there just to speak to your value, but this has been an approved request in the budget, so I think they still like, it has to be brought up, because I think you saw Phil's response. As a matter of, yes.
Did you have to go last year for it? I don't remember you have to go last year for it.
I certainly went when you were hired.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think they just passed it. Like,
You know what?
they
I
did.
was on I couldn't go last year but I spoke for like 5 minutes. Or, I mean, I spoke for maybe like 30 seconds.
Gotcha. Maybe it just passed my mind, but I thought.
Yeah, I
thought
did participate last year. I
Okay.
remember, yeah. He said that is true for the appropriation process. We're now in the approval of the contract. Okay, because it's the approval of the contract. The prior contract called for renewal on the existing terms, but their terms are now changing. So this is a new contract. But I wanted to see how the terms changed. I think I sent this to I'm virtually certain I sent this to everybody. Did you see how it changed, Luke?
How the contract changed. I think they just changed the year, right? They updated.
He's saying that the terms changed.
I think that he meant the the small raise and then the new
Oh,
year.
I see.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
it was only working till last year, this year. Now it's next year. That's the only two things I saw changed.
Who do you have your indemnity insurance from? Is it the Hartford?
Yeah, I think it was the Hartford.
Yeah. Okay. Just again, looking if there's anything else. New business, the CAC, Suzanne, aside from dinner invites, is anything going on there?
Wait, who went? Pete, you went.
I did, I listened in, I didn't,
Yeah.
I was Zoom, there was no dinner.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Your recap. What do you think? Because they're only seeing mine. So what's your view?
Well, it was quite an experience.
They all are.
It was definitely a long runway to get the Zoom call going.
Every time.
Yeah, there was no that did not disappoint, I can promise you. Yeah, it just there was not a whole lot of business that seemed like it was anything new. I know I'm new to the whole thing, but it did seem like they were sort of rehashing everything that's been leading up to what we had, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, whenever that was.
Yeah, I think they have a meeting Thursday. I'm going to Maine this weekend, so I can't go. It's in person
I'll
at
have
dinner.
this one.
So, but the agenda is exactly the same as last. So I don't know.
It seems like the scholarship is still and how to promote the scholarship, and that they haven't been able to award this scholarship is just amazing. They're all befuddled as well, but from I really don't understand how they can't give it away. For years.
They should literally just pick someone and give it to them.
I don't understand how that doesn't happen.
I don't know what's happening. But yeah, then they change a different word to make it sound different.
Well, yeah, I mean, it seems like they're expanding their horizons as to how they want to market the thing into Fairfield Moms was a suggestion, and the other groups from, in the other towns.
Yeah. I'll get kicked out of that group if I say
With any luck.
I mean, it's one of those things, guys. And I appreciate you doing that, Pete, and always your involvement, Suzanne. I mean, I know what's going to happen. The one time like nobody can go, they'll say, that there's, money on the table again. But all I
But
can
it
say
will
is
take them 2 meetings at least to figure it
that's
out.
true. That's true.
We'll get it.
Oh,
We'll get it.
right.
We're there.
Wait, Suzanne, did you go to the dinner last week?
No, that's this week. This is when I'm in Maine.
It was
It's
the
this
meeting
week, I
to
think.
talk about the dinner.
Because they sent me an email and they said, "Oh, it was I think last week." They said that there's a dinner. Like they sent me it like Thursday, and they're like, "Oh, it's Thursday, like in an hour." And I'm like, "What? Like you just can't send me it this late."
I think it's next week. Oh yeah, then they were like, should we invite these people? I'm just like, no one wants to go to dinner. But anyway,
Yeah,
I think it's
it says right Thursday the 19th.
everyone's off work that day. I mean, anyway, we'll see. I haven't gotten I'll email and be like, can I please see the notes from the dinner meeting? But I really do think it was this Thursday. But anyway, I'll follow up. I still get the email,
Yeah.
so I am.
It was in Milford too. I mean, I had plans, but I mean, I don't know if that would make me go. But
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I think we should all go. Like if we've done bad things in our life, we can all go and get some good karma points back. But I think that
We could use the surplus money to buy a table at the dinner.
yeah.
Or you can buy the CAC with the surplus.
Yeah. They do normally send the minutes. So I'm thinking maybe they got the date wrong, but I'll follow up and be like, oh, how was the dinner, and see.
I don't even think it's a meeting though, because it just said like the annual dinner. So I think they just probably just eat and talk
Catch up.
about nothing.
Like, well, same. That's a meeting. That's a meeting. They're just
And
not
then the lady, the Marlene was saying that she was in the hospital, and I feel like they're always like between her and then the other guy, they were like every email they sent was like, "Oh, sorry, I'm in the hospital." Like, so I don't know what's going on. I feel like
Well, the first meeting I went to, there was this one guy there. I think it was you, David, I was talking to afterwards, and he was like, where am I? What are we talking about? And then David was like, he died. And I was like, what? Like, he
Yeah,
died the next week. And I was like, they don't even send an email like this. Like, I was like, what am I doing? Anyway, it's very interesting.
was it the Ron Davis guy?
Who was it, David? Do you
yeah,
remember?
yeah.
Uh,
Ron
Was
Davis.
it?
Yeah,
Oh, geez, I didn't know that. Because I remember I would email him. I would email him because like they said, oh, email him because he's the leader of the CAC, and then he just stopped all communication. So that makes sense.
Yeah,
know
they'd
why.
be, like having this conversation, not like it was productive, and they'd be like, what do you think? And he'd go, where am I? And I was like, what's happening? Like, I don't know. You come from like a full day of Zoom meetings at work,
Yeah.
and then you come into this, and you're like,
painful.
different pace, different pace. But yeah, it was
Lee,
yeah,
I'd be remiss to say, that maybe you're on the AI craze or not, that if you use the AI tool, you can get a very clean, nice summary of this meeting.
I've already written one.
I'm sure, but it's, I'm
I
looking at it.
activated it.
Thank you. Yeah, what are the action items? And it's quite well done. I mean, I've used
Yeah.
this before. I just thought they do a nice summary.
Yeah, it
In
is
any event.
nice.
All right.
That mean I'm being replaced? Is that what you're telling me?
Hardly. There's something wrong if you're replacing people who are doing volunteer work.
I can't hear you.
There's something wrong if people are either being replaced who are doing volunteer work or serving their communities for a pittance of a salary. That would be wrong. It's wrong enough when people's jobs are eliminated, but I digress. Okay. If there's no new items, we'll jump on this allocation for, a bonus, and, summertime is usually really slow. I don't even think BOS meets, sometimes until the fall, until September. So
Yeah, it's usually Board of Ed and Board of Finance are off till August. Board of Selectmen usually is still, I think, once a month, and then RTM still meets in the summer. But yeah, Board of Finance and Board of Ed are off for the summer.
all right. Does anybody have any new requests, new business, anything else? No.
Nope.
Okay. I'll make a motion to conclude this special meeting of Fair TV.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Hi.
All right, Suzanne would just ask that you upload, or how do we do
You
this?
could just send it to me. I'll send it over to Jeff, and he'll archive it.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, and Suzanne, just since it's on my mind, if you can give us somebody at least the capability to,
Yeah.
step in as host, if it's not too much trouble. But thank you all for being here. We'll meet on the, the scheduled time in a month if there's anything, new to act or vote upon.
Okay.
Thanks. I'm sorry I was late.
No problem at all.
Thanks.
Good night, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.